editing mark here. This was supposed to be the episode where you ask your questions in the comments, and it still is. I basically recorded this entire thing forgetting that. But write your questions in the comments, and I will answer them for episode 100, which is the next episode. So do that. Now for your regularly scheduled programming. Pretty bad allergies today. I keep waiting for the sneezing and stuff to stop to begin saying stuff, and it's not. So we're just gonna power through it anyway. A thing occurred to me earlier. One of the problems with comedy that I would think, if you're a stand-up comedian, is there's only so many relatable experiences. Granted, not every comedian has comedy that hinges on like referring to relatable, universal human experiences, but a lot of them do. So think about it. How many times can you go up there and just like talk about a thing that everybody experiences without running out of things? It seems like amazing that that doesn't happen. And it basically does happen when you think about it. Like, comedians are always talking about the same stuff, right? Not really, but in order to be a successful comedian, it's almost like you're just gonna be talking about the same things everybody talks about. You just have to find some new way to talk about them. So as somebody that kind of designs systems, I've sort of thought about like, what is a solution to this? How could you find like a catalog of relatable human experiences? Bonus points if they're already kind of funny. This is a thought I've been having for months, and it finally dawned on me. The solution. Don't get the wrong impression. I'm not considering myself a comedian, and I am not one. But I've spent so much time coming up with unique solutions to my own stuff that there's some overflow, and my brain just comes up with solutions to other people's problems too. You wouldn't think of it, but there is a compendium of relatable, slightly humorous, universal or nearly universal human experiences. It's called Family Feud. Think about it. Family Feud is a compendium. I mean, we're talking decades. It's like that started in late 60s, something like that. We've got 50 years worth of relatable human things, human experiences. Like, top 5 things your wife says when you get home from work. Even better, there's stuff like top 5 things you don't want to hear your wife say when you get home from work. Survey says, take out the garbage. Top 6 breakfast foods. Look, if you're a competent comedian, you can take anything like that and find a joke in it. I mean, I would even go so far as to say that if you can't look at the top 8 responses from one of those Family Feud boards and make a joke out of something in there, you don't know what you're doing. You're probably not fit for comedy. Like, if you can't find like top 5 things that are annoying that happen in traffic, top 4 things your dog says, top 8 responses you're gonna get from aliens if they come down to Earth and look at your bathroom. I'm absolutely sure there's a website out there somewhere that just has a list of the Family Feud things, the questions they ask people, and the responses. And we're talking like 50 years at least. Yeah, so I am a systems thinker, and if I was a stand-up comedian, that's what I would do. Like, it's almost an unexhaustible resource of just relatable things that are already kind of funny. Like, if the question is like top 6 things you have for breakfast, there's always that weird one where people say something like the newspaper. Because it is something you have at breakfast, but like, it's just a weird thing that apparently 20 people said. Anyway, on to the 3D printing stuff, but that just occurred to me, and I know that's gonna help somebody. It's gonna take a second to segue the packages to clients, so we're gonna go ahead and do a little packaging. Well, big Smilodon skull turned out good and will be on its way. Let's segue this stuff to clients. I think the order of operations is I'm gonna sling this and then I'm gonna hold this. This is a little unpleasant, but honestly not even that bad. I've seen the future. Yeah, I can tell the only thing that's gonna suck about this a little bit is the traffic. But as long as it's not raining, this ought to work, at least for a few days. There we go, successfully made it across. Yeah, why not, you know? Have a good one. That was kind of fun. Yeah, not even bad. I would almost do this if I didn't have to. Top 8 ways to drop off packages without a car. Might as well take these little guys too. Round number 2. Yeah, this ain't bad. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is having to cross traffic. But this is Nacogdoches, it's not even that bad. There was this coffee shop I was gonna go to, but I checked and I don't quite have enough battery to get there. So we are going to the second best thing. The second best thing does appear to be open. Not bad. Their coffee is like better than Dunkin's. Wow, it's windy. Their coffee is better than Dunkin's, but they only come in one size, which is not really my favorite size. I also got a cinnamon roll. Wow, I just had a really wild thought. I don't know what made me think of this, but there's a movie called Master and Commander: Far Side of the World, and it's got Russell Crowe in it. A lot of you probably haven't seen it because I think it came out almost the same time as Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one. And it's also a naval themed thing, so I think a lot of people didn't see it. Anyway, it's set during the Napoleonic Wars, and Russell Crowe is the captain of a ship, and they're hunting down this other ship. There's this really gut-wrenching scene. This is a movie that's worth seeing if you haven't seen it. There's this gut-wrenching scene where there's a storm and their mast like breaks off, or part of it, and it's still connected to the ship. The only thing that sucks about it is there's this guy who is on the mast. You know, they climb the mast and do things. I don't know about naval stuff. And so he goes out into the sea along with this big piece of ship, and it's tied via all these ropes. And basically Russell Crowe's character has to make the decision whether to cut this guy off or not. And the thing that sucks is, like, obviously he's a totally innocent guy just stuck out in the ocean and he's about to drown. And he makes the decision to cut that guy off. The fear is, like, things are so turbulent that the entire ship could crash, and not crash, but take on water, and everyone would die. So they get all these hatchets out and they start hacking away at the ropes, and this guy is just freaking out in the water because he knows he's about to die a horrific death. Anyone that's seen this knows how, like, kind of traumatic this was. But it just occurred to me, that's what cutting people off in your life is like. Because you can see that part of them that's like a great person or has potential, or however you want to say it. But like, there's just some toxic thing that they're not even really aware of or not grappling with sometimes. And sometimes it's almost like it's their responsibility, but like, I don't want to say it's not their fault, but we could all be there sometimes. Like, sometimes there really are circumstances that it is your job to overcome, but we can understand that a lot of people won't. Sometimes those things make people toxic and harmful to your life. And it's not a perfect analogy because I do think that's their responsibility, but man, it can be gut-wrenching to just cut those people off. But sometimes you got to, or the entire ship is gonna sink. Check out this review. I'll cover up their last name. This is public though. Very cool. Let's package some things. Little Sharky boy. Got a little something special here today. One of the glass beds on the S5s broke, and you pretty much can't even buy those big glass beds anymore, or it's harder to find them. A couple of those newer ones had build surfaces just like this, and they have worked pretty well. So I think that's what I'm going to be getting from now on. A lot of the reason I don't like build surfaces is because they get scratched up and eventually you have to get a new one. It takes a long time, but it does happen. However, with those big glass beds, I mean, they're hard to find in the first place at this point. And secondly, they can break. I mean, they're just so big and they're thin. So like, it is very difficult to never break them. I've only had it happen once, but yeah, I think we're doing build surfaces for the S5s if we need to in the future. Got a nice stone finish Moai 3 right here. Another beautiful blue Sharky boy. Male guy. We'll let the eyes dry for a second and package a couple other things. This is your classic Great Dane. It's subtle, but we made the eyes sort of brown. People love that. And we do have the white spot here. People love this piece. I just shipped one of these to somebody in New Zealand, actually. Here's that Orwell. Pretty good looking. Just a couple of little things here, but came out pretty nice. Another small David can. Einstein. We're going to be putting tape over the eyes, but they're not quite as consistently black as I would need them to, so we're going to paint them a bit. Did the green layer on the pipe wastebaskets. Came out really, really nice. Just a nice classic green. And now we're going to tape off and do the brick. I think we're going to make at least a few extra pipe cans going into Christmas because they've been selling better lately. I feel like I'm going to sell 5 or 6 of these over Christmas. I mean, maybe more. It could be like the big popular Christmas item, who knows. But it's good to have these made in advance because they do take a while. Today on the menu we have those things from Kroger and jalapeno cornbread, which is also on sale from Kroger. This is the cheap way to eat right here. Check this out. I just designed a business card holder for a friend of mine that has a tattoo shop. I'll give you the line by line, the layer by layer. Yeah, let's spin it around. I think this is going gold. You'll see you got your tattoo gun in the back. Should look pretty cool sitting on their counter. So here's a landmark for me. Etsy has a thing with international shipments where sometimes it'll like want you to kind of make it shorter than what the customer wrote. So you got to play this game of like, well, what information did the customer provide that isn't necessary? And there usually is stuff you can cut because they just write a whole bunch of things. But if it's a different country, you don't really know what the standards are, so you got to look it up. It's a lot more complex than it really should be. However, I looked up this one and it's going to the Canary Islands. So I have never shipped to the Canary Islands and I only kind of know where they are. So that's pretty fun. That's a fun milestone. It's a giant hammerhead, by the way. Whew, not a good day for allergies, but a great day for filament. Got sort of done with a lot of things more quickly, so we're making more spools. Everybody's kind of humming along nicely. Just churning out these sharks. The Euromastic skull is coming along. This is a complex one. I think I charge more than 200 for this. I think it's 250. Overall, everybody's doing their little job. It's a nice, happy family. St. Chuck smiles upon us all. Yeah. Another day on the books. Well, my mechanic friend is coming tomorrow. Hopefully whatever's wrong with my car. I mean, I'm almost sure it's just a pulley that needs replaced, but I don't know enough about those systems to know a lot. He thinks it's not going to be very big a deal, but hopefully that will be a fairly easy fix. As always, the filament wall grows solid. You can see that it is very, very close to full. I'm glad I got the tattoo thing done. Been meaning to knock that out. That will be printed as soon as one of those spools gets done. But very little left to do at the end of the day here. Making some real good progress, getting those sharks built up, getting so ready. We're gonna have a room full of sharks by the time the orders start coming in. Really, the two major things we got to get done to be ready for Christmas is I got to get all the little printers working. Yeah, probably all of them. And got to stock up on paints. As you saw the other day, Ollie's has a lot of paint. We're probably going to buy several $100s worth of it. I still have silver paint left over from last Christmas season. So that's going to be a thing. But really, we're pretty close to ready. We got to do a bunch of stuff like stock up on boxes, but that's not super pressing because it's pretty easy to get boxes. You just go get them. I'm grateful that the preparations for the big sell-off have gone pretty smoothly and that reviews are good and everything is pretty much good. So, you know what time it is. Are you ready? Are you ready? Time for the gratitude gang to rise up again. Tell me what you're grateful for. Tell me what you're working on, what projects you've got, what small moments in your life, in your day-to-day that you've enjoyed. And yeah, well, that'll basically do it. You'll probably get a heart. You'll probably get upvotes. And I do think it is a nice gesture of service to start your day with liking somebody else's comment. Nobody ever thinks about anybody else. It's so easy to just focus on yourself. But people like it when you upvote their comments. It is such a small thing, and yet it means so much. And that's what we're here to do. That's the kind of stuff we do on this channel. So I'll catch you next time. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Peace.